A window of opportunity is closing. Welcome back to the Industry Leader Update. In the first week of October, traditional mortgage application volumes plummeted to a 3-month low. And traditional mortgage refinance transactions, those are 16% lower than they were the same week 1 year ago in October of 2020. Then in late September, the Federal Reserve signaled they're going to be tapering their $120 billion purchase of U.S. Treasury bonds and mortgage-backed securities. The housing inventory? That's up 30% since May. Now, while some of these factors may not be directly tied to reverse mortgage market, each will have a potential impact on interest rates, but most importantly, consumer sentiment or confidence in the real estate market. Meanwhile, U.S. homeowners 62 and older, they're sitting on a mountain of home equity. Normal's risk-span reverse market index shows senior housing wealth grew by 3.7% from the first to the second quarter of 2021 for a record total of $9.57 trillion. Is the window of opportunity closing for these equity-rich homeowners who have not got a reverse mortgage? It may be, at least for those that have a high mortgage balance. That leaves them on the cusp of qualifying with today's low interest rates and record home values. But then we have the older homeowner with little or no mortgage balance. Now, they're likely to qualify at some point in the future, albeit they'll have higher interest rates and could potentially see lower home values, each lowering the net benefit. Now, who would have thought that we would find ourselves in such an ideal housing market and favorable lending conditions with an economy that many expect is heading into a deep recession? However, as the housing market inflated, the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar was steadily eroded by inflation, so much so that the Social Security recipients will be seeing a 5.9% cost of living adjustment in 2022, as we reported last week. So the logical question is, what's next? First is the pivot. Since March, HECM to HECM refinances have accounted for nearly 50% of all HECM applications. Now, surprisingly, that trend has persisted, revealing that the market refi potential may not quite be tapped dry, but at some point it will. Now, looking forward to 2022, the HECM, the majority of endorsement volume, that's going to have to be drawn from first-time HECM borrowers. Today, I'm getting anecdotal reports that shows that lenders and brokers are anticipating that move to a more customary lending market, and they are already planning accordingly. Now, the shift to a more typical HECM market in 2022 is likely to be aided by increasing inflation and a growing sense of unease about the American economy. If history has taught us one thing, it's that financial need or anxiety, those are often the forces that push most to even consider a reverse mortgage in the first place. Now, certainly there are the mass affluent, and they could see an opportunity to hedge their future cash flow, but for most, it's a pragmatic decision, fueled by their current financial woes or circumstances. And that's our window of opportunity. Record home values and low interest rates amidst an economy that's flashing the warning signs of a recession and possibly stagflation. This increasingly makes the reverse mortgage a more attractive bulwark against the ravages of inflation that we're seeing and also future economic hardship. Now it's your turn. How do you see our industry pivoting away from HECM to HECM refinances and toward first-time borrowers? And what impacts of an economic downturn do you anticipate, whether they be negative or positive? You can leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, be sure to share this episode on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Today and every Monday, our latest podcast episode is going to bring you the latest reverse mortgage news. You can catch that at HECMworld.com or subscribe and listen on iTunes. That's it for us this week. Until then, happy originating.